Hey, my name is Jack Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the alarming surge in Section 21s that have been served over the last 12 months since Labour has been in power. You see, Labour have a bill that's going through Parliament at the moment. It's very popular content on this channel when we talk about the Renters' Rights Bill. Now, the goal of that bill is to give renters more rights, to make accommodation better for them. But it could be backfiring because more people are actually getting evicted from their properties due to this impending rule than has happened for a very long time. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how many people have been served a Section 21, how much that is up over the previous year, and why is this happening now? Because the Renters' Rights Bill isn't even an active law at the moment. So if you're new around here, before we dive into this, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. By subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property investing news, Renters' Rights Bill news, and much, much more. And let's help more people understand exactly what's happening at the moment in the market. The way we can do that is to get more views on the video. Your part is simple. Smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that really has helped the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that does that. So, the Conservatives, when they were in power, they had the Renters' Reform Bill. Labour got into power and they got rid of that bill and changed it to the Renters' Rights Bill. It's pretty much the same thing. Now, the big thing was that when the Tories were in power, they, in their bill, were going to abolish something called Section 21 no-fault evictions. And as it got closer to becoming law, they looked at the courts and they said, this isn't going to work. The courts don't have the capacity to deal with this. So we'll pass the bill, but we'll make sure that the Section 21 no-fault evictions isn't part of it until the courts are ready. Labour came in and they promised to get rid of these Section 21 no-fault evictions within 100 days. Clearly that hasn't happened now. They've been in power over a year. And so the threat of landlords losing this mechanism to get tenants out of the property should they not pay rent and they just want to get the property back quickly has meant that a lot of landlords have just forced tenants out, which is the opposite of what Labour were trying to achieve. And so the Renters' Rights Bill is going through court at the moment, or going through Parliament at the moment. It'll probably be an active law by the end of 2025, probably by the autumn. And part of that is the fact that they will abolish Section 21. That's a no-fault eviction. That means you can't get rid of your tenant for no reason. You still could get rid of your tenant if they're in rental arrears and various other mechanisms, but that process is via something called a Section 8. That needs to go through a court. There's already a 6-month backlog in the court, and when you get rid of the Section 21s, you're probably going to have a 12-month backlog in the court. It's not going to be very smooth for sure. So a lot of landlords, if they've got a tenant that they're slightly unhappy with at the moment, or they're thinking about selling their property at the moment, they're just jumping the gun and serving these Section 21s. And they're at real highs at the moment. And so this isn't really great. So last year we had Section 21s. There were 10,576 Section 21s. Now, currently, 12-month rolling at the moment, it's jumped to 11,402. For the mathematicians of you, that's 8% up on last year. And that's going to carry on growing because a lot of landlords, as it gets closer to the deadline, as we get close to the bill passing, will just serve the Section 21s because there'll be a cut-off date and you'll get a flurry of that. I reckon, and I'll be confident on this, that it will go up from 10,000 to, once we get close to the deadline where you can't use it anymore, I think you'll get 15,000 no-fault evictions in 1 year, all because the government is pushing this bill through. Now, tenants will also feel repercussions from this, because a Section 21 isn't great to get for anyone. I totally understand that. It's frustrating. Some landlords use them. The homelessness MP was in the news the other day, wasn't she? Rushanara Ali, she was the homeless minister. She used the Section 21 to get rid of a tenant, said she was going to sell the property, didn't sell the property, then put the rent up by £700 a month. So she used it for that mechanism to increase the rent massively on her property. And that is what some landlords do. But some like the Section 21 because it's their insurance policy. It means if there is a problem, they're more likely to get the property back quickly. And so this is making landlords leave the market. And that's not what you want either. You might think landlords are all bad people. Let's just get rid of them all. But landlords have been hit by a lot of stuff recently. Firstly, over the last few years, there's a new tax for landlord called Section 24, meaning they pay tax on the gross rent. They can't deduct the mortgage payments. And so they could have a massive tax bill. In fact, their tax bill could be more than they're actually earning, meaning they're losing money if they own the property in their own name. They've also got the EPC legislation where the government is saying you might have to spend 15 grand per property in order to bring it up to a certain standard. That's making more landlords quit as well. You've got the interest rates that went up. That worries a lot of landlords. You maybe had a mortgage rate of 2% and now it's at 4%. That means your mortgage interest payment has doubled and you're not allowed to deduct that for tax either. So that pushed a lot of them out. But the Renters' Rights Bill is pushing more landlords out than ever before. I did a video earlier this week where RICS, the Chartered Surveyors, they said the amount of properties that are available for rent at the moment is as low as it was in April 2020, 5-year low. Now, think about that. April 2020, what were you doing in April 2020? It was the pandemic. It was a lockdown at that period of time. And so rentals were particularly low. So to say we're back at that level is crazy. And if you're a tenant looking for a property right now, it must be very, very hard to get one. And the fact that more landlords are using these Section 21s and we're not getting those properties back on the rental market means likelihood is that more landlords are listing their properties for sale, shrinking that private rental market even more. So two things are happening here. By pushing this extra bill through, making it harder for landlords, you're squeezing more of them out of the market at a time where the amount of rental properties is at a 5-year low. You're also getting some people that are good tenants that the landlord would probably have kept in there. They're getting evicted because of this policy. And I think it's only going to get worse as we get closer to the deadline where you can't use this anymore. So in hindsight, I don't think this has been particularly good for tenants. What do you think? Because this isn't what we want. We don't want lots of people getting eviction notices. I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And if you're a landlord or a property owner or a tenant that now is thinking, you know what, I'd like to buy a property and not have the stress of getting evicted, well, we've got a new ebook that might help you. It's called Mortgage Secrets, How to Get the Best Mortgage Deal in 2025 and Beyond. It's in the description. It's in the first comment. 1,700 people grabbed a copy already. So go and grab your copy while you're there. Do like this video. Do subscribe. Also check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.